Hello arty people. So remember in my last craft fair blog where I said I didn't have any more coming up and I was just going to focus on Christmas things? Well, like the day after I posted that, I signed up for another one. So it's this weekend and it is a celebration event of the town where my parents live, where I grew up. It is the 50th anniversary of their town council or something like that. So they're doing a weekend long celebration with stalls and attractions and performances and all sorts of stuff. Including a craft fair marquee. Now, this is the first time that I am doing a 2-day event. Usually I avoid them because it just seems like a lot, but the price was so cheap for this that it just seems silly not to. So the cost for having a table for both days was only £20. As I've said before, I'm trying to be a bit more selective with which events I choose to apply for, trying to steer away from the kind of family fun day events, but I've made an exception for this one because it was so cheap. It's also super local to me and they are having a designated craft fair section. So it's not just going to be craft stalls mixed in with all kinds of other stalls. So hopefully the event will draw in lots of people and all those people will visit the craft fair marquee. The weather for this weekend looks good, not too hot as it has been this week. So hopefully it'll be comfortable in a marquee. I haven't done that much to prepare kind of stock wise because I've got a decent amount of stock left over from the last craft fairs I've done, but also my son has now dropped his nap, so that is an hour each day that I used to spend working on stuff just gone. And also my mum, who you may know does all the crocheting for the bits that I sell on my stall, has broken her wrist. So she hasn't been able to do any of the crocheting to restock certain things. But I have ordered some more copies of 2 of my books after selling a few at the last craft fair I did. I've also made a couple of new hairbands. I did the kind of quick and easy scrunchy ones, and I especially love this one. That is a vibe. And other than that, it's mostly been restocking felt dogs. I also bought a little folding table that I was talking about in my last craft fair vlog. So I'd seen one on the B&M website for £10, went to B&M, it was out of stock, went to B&M the next week and there was no trace that they even sold it. So had a look in Home Bargains and found the exact same one for £2 cheaper. Pays to shop around, guys. So hopefully in the marquee I will actually have space behind my table to use this folding table. So hopefully I'm going to be able to get some footage this weekend, otherwise this will be a very short video. I'll have lots of family around the weekend popping in and out to keep me company. So yeah, hopefully it should be a good event. So the Saturday is 12 till 8, which was an hour later than the original application said, but we're going with it. And then Sunday is 12 till 5, I think. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Obviously finishing at 8, that's not really going to give me much time to quickly restock anything if Saturday goes particularly well, so I'm just going to have to work with what I've got at this point. It is always tricky knowing what's going to be the popular items, so I've just got a bit of everything and we'll see how it goes. So I just got back from the second day of the event, so I'm pretty tired, but let's talk about how it went. So I only managed to get a few clips of the 2 days, so apologies for this being a shorter video. So let's start with the first day, Saturday. So the weather was great. It was warm, it was sunny, it brought loads of people out. So as I said before, the craft fair was in its own marquee, and weather-wise, it was fine in there. I feel like with marquees, it could go either way, either be like too warm or too cold, but it was actually nice. It was definitely cooler in the marquee than it was outside. A little bit of a breeze, so yeah, it was really nice. The stalls were set out really nicely. They were all around the outside and then a line in the middle, and I was in the middle. It was definitely a slower start to the day. The event started at 12, so I feel like maybe people came, had a first look around, then went and found something to eat, and then they came round to properly look and buy stuff. But from then it was busy throughout. There was a really great atmosphere to the event. They had live music playing, people had bought picnic blankets and were just having a really nice time. It did get a lot slower towards the end. Like I said, it was going on until 8. I feel like the craft fair bit at least could have finished at 6, because I don't think I actually made any sales kind of after 6 o'clock, and we all kind of packed up by 7:30, like the event organizer who had a stall like agreed that that was fine. I sold like a good range of things, but the main things were my crochet pencil toppers. I'd actually been thinking before this event that I was going to start kind of phasing them out because I just wasn't really selling them. I'd just been bringing out the same ones over and over, and then I ended up selling I think like 6 of them. So by the end of the first day I had 2 left. So that was a nice surprise. I also sold quite a few of my felt dogs, which is always nice. So I'll talk numbers here. So on the first day I made £115, which for me is pretty good. I always think that around kind of £100 is a good day, especially when it's a non-Christmas event. So at the end of the first day I decided to take home all of my stock but leave all my display items there. Some people just left everything there, maybe like covered it with a tablecloth or something, but I thought because it was in a marquee and it was due to rain in the morning, I just didn't want to risk like any damage from the elements or anything. So, but that was done pretty quickly. I just took everything off, put it in boxes and was able to take it home. So then the next morning I just put all my display stuff back up and was able to put everything back in its boxes, back in its place. So I was able to be ready relatively quickly because all of the price labels and stuff were already on there. So day 2, so the Sunday. So it was another 12 o'clock start. The weather was not as nice as the Saturday. It had been raining a bit in the morning, but that had cleared up by the time it started and the sun was kind of shining intermittently. But it was still pretty nice in the marquee. It was a lot windier today, but again the marquee sheltered us from that. It was another quite busy day. There was lots of people around. For the entertainment today it was more of the community things, so like the local dance groups and the twirlers and choirs and stuff like that. So my thinking was that that would bring in a lot of people, like the parents wanting to see their kids perform. But although there were lots of people around, I did not make many sales at all. So I actually only made £13. So £115 yesterday and £13 today. I just don't quite know why it was such a difference. I mean, yes, the weather was better yesterday, but it wasn't bad today. There was still loads of people there. They just weren't buying today. So obviously, if I'd just gone today, then it would have been, you know, a very disappointing day. But adding the 2 days together, I think it was worth going. Especially because the table was only £20, and also today a lot of my family came, so I had different people helping me out on the stool. My son was there with my parents, so he was having a great day. So even though I didn't come away with a lot of money today, he had a nice day out, so that's something, because you know, if I hadn't gone today then we would have just been at home doing not a lot. So it was valuable in other ways. Having all my family there also meant that I kind of didn't really notice that much the lack of sales because there was always someone for me to talk to, so the day didn't really drag as much as it potentially could have done. I also had a new stall neighbour today. There are only a couple of tables that like switched out the Saturday and the Sunday, so I had a new person to talk to, and she was really nice, and she was kind of giving me the inside scoop on all the local fairs, on which ones are good and which ones you should avoid, so that was nice. She was nice to talk to. And then today finished at 5. And we all kind of packed up just before 5, so it wasn't too bad. And packing up, I definitely felt like I was coming away with less than I took, which is always good. So now I can say that I don't have any booked in until Christmas, though who knows, that might change again. So my plan now is to update my Etsy shop. I have a lot more dogs now that I can restock, and I want to add some other bits that I haven't put on my Etsy shop before. but I've got like little key rings and little zip pouches that I've taken to fairs that I want to give a try on Etsy. And then I will be thinking about Christmas things. So yeah, that was my weekend. That is how the craft fair went. Thanks for watching. Bye!